Hey, beautiful people. Bobby the Awesome here. Welcome to 321 No Kiddin. I realized like yesterday, I haven't been doing intro and outro music on the shows. So please, listen to Blue October. I hope you're happy. Or Big Love's my other favorite. I actually am going to write, I'm going to a master class with Blue October, and it's to learn how to write my own song. So I'm hoping to come up with something very magical for 321 for both the podcast and the theme of the recovery playgrounds. At any rate, if you're following along for the Fearless Challenge, we're on day 7, and the prompt doesn't really relate to you guys. Um, it's about making an offer, like why, if I wanted to help you. So once the recovery playground or the Facebook group is ready to accept volunteers and I have a little bit more in the structure in place, then it could have made sense. Like, why do you want to be a volunteer? And what does this do? And then I would have wrote it and directed it to you. But we're not quite there yet. So I ended up writing my homework today around a podcast class that I'm hosting starting next week. So it's not really for you, but I figured I'd jump on and say hi anyway. And I'm enjoying my little short episodes. I haven't done this since COVID, and it's fun to be back, and it's just good for me to be here. So I'm going to share with you some things, like not with the intention of whining, but I was paying attention to how I was feeling this morning, and frustration would be the key word. So I was struggling a little, and I just kind of wanted to talk through how I'm here and I'm smiling right now because I didn't let these things get me down. So a couple things. The first thing was I went to go check to see if I was getting paid this week, and I wasn't. 2 weeks in a row, which is scary. Money stuff is scary. I try to not make it scary anymore, and I'm okay. It's not like I'm going to not eat if I don't get paid. I'm not going to have my car repoed. I'm not any of those things. So really, does it matter if it takes a couple extra weeks to get paid? Not really. And that's kind of how I reconciled it. And there's a version of Bobby that the attitude, as I call her, um, normally would have, panicked, and I had to go down to the office to deal with it, and it would have been victim, it would have been crying, it would have been emotional, because the emotion is tough sometimes, like, because it's fear driven. Luckily, I have a coach that teaches about the inner guidance system. I almost forgot the name of it there for a minute. And the way she teaches emotions like fear and worry and all of that, basically she tells you, like, if you're upset, then it means it's not true. Whatever I'm upset about is not true. So I'm really simplifying it. So don't just do that and think that. But essentially, I kind of reminded myself of the things she teaches. So that was one of my coping mechanisms. And the other was, so I go to get my car afterwards, and it's leaking windshield washer fluid again. Now, it's a relatively new car, like Christmas Eve new. Had to go in the shop for all kinds of hail damage for when I visited Texas. Comes out of the shop, windshield wiper fluid empty. Drive it up to another shop. Nothing's wrong with it, the place where I bought it. So now here I am back, and the light's back on, which means obviously something's wrong with it. So I get in the car after finding out, it may be another couple weeks before I get paid. And my instinct was like, but I wanted, like, my body and my mind went right, like, to anger, wanting to be anger. So instead I just called, and of course they haven't called me back yet, which I'll just acknowledge, I guess, out loud. But what am I going to do? I'm going to have to suck it up, and I'm going to have to make the best of it. I'm going to have to go back, because when I go on my trip across country, I can't not have windshield wiper fluid. Sounds little, but it's kind of important to be able to see when you're driving. Just saying. So the final couple of things that I'm doing is staying busy. Instead of letting myself get caught up in that, I had the self-talk and it was like, all right, don't get your pissy pants on. It's all fixable. In the grand scheme of things, like really does life suck that bad that I have to um go do the same thing over? I don't like stuff like that. Like it's a waste of time, but it's generally not a freaking crisis. Um and a good thing to practice in times like this is being grateful. Like, okay, I'm grateful that I have a car that's needs work, right? Like that's better than not having a car that needs work. And then I came back and just started diving right into work, which that energy I'm hoping will keep me more productive. It will, because I'm here and I'm recording, even though the prompt didn't line up for today. So that's kind of what I got today, beautiful people. Like, don't sweat the small stuff. And if you need to, just kind of decide if it's small stuff. I mean, not getting paid isn't really small stuff, but when it has to do with my basics, like, am I safe? Am I fed? Am I all those things? Then it really is. It's the gap of time between receipt is the small stuff in that particular case. So anyway, maybe I'll see you back tomorrow, depending on what the prompt is, or not. Maybe I'll just come back no matter if the prompt works or not. All right. Talk to you soon. Thanks.